So when I got the job, because I wanted to buy myself a PlayStation, my parents were like, get a job, you know, like that might be good for you. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm working, you know, I spill like a thing of ice cream on the floor, and I swear he was about to hit me. Like, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And then he told me to mop. And so I'm mopping. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm wringing the mop and just like putting soap everywhere. Like, I'm like, is this right? And then he came in and then he's like, what is this? So basically, we're all in Star Athletics, right? Everybody's been there and grinding each day. What do you think the vibe's like with the team? You know, like, I talked to Gat and Isaiah, and I was saying, like, it's kind of like a family atmosphere. So when you guys come to practice, what's the vibe like? Like, how's the atmosphere, and specifically talking about D, because he's the one that sets the tone for the entire team.
I think you hit on the head with, like, definitely, like, a family atmosphere. I know, like, in years past, people be like, oh, like, that dude's crazy, or, you know, we just come to practice for work and then we go home. But, like, if you think about it, we spend the majority of our time together. So it's like, you got to enjoy your time there and just be open and just be yourself around everybody, and things go by good.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's more of a family environment. Like, it's not really like, because I've been in some training groups where it seems like people are like out to get you, or, you know what I mean, just always come to your head. It's more like we working together, like helping each other. Cause I know some days I have bad days. Y'all help me get through the workout, and then some other days, like today, or you might not be feeling as good, and I'll help you get through some parts of the workout. So it's more of like, we know if I'm better at the end of the day, that'll make you better, and if you're better at the end of the day, it'll make me better. It's not really like everybody's being selfish, you know what I mean? So I definitely like that.
It kind of get me out of my comfort zone where I need to be. Like you said, I'm very reserved. But if I'm gonna like bring that dog out in his terms, then I need somebody there hyping me up every day, like, come on, just scream and all that. It's just like, okay, you're crazy, but I think I like it. It's different, but I like it.
See, I've seen that other side of you, though, because everybody sees the nice, sweet, innocent Des. I'll never forget, in Zagreb, she was in the middle of the dance floor, shaking it up like I've never seen, pounding back drinks like, let's go, another one. So.
Okay, that was a one-time thing. And I was forced.
No.
Listen,
No,
this is
she
how
was
it
the ringleader.
No, this is how it was. I told them, I'm like, y'all, I don't turn up no more. They're like, come on, Des, come on, like, this the last track meet, come on. So I'm just like, well, if I go out, I'm gonna go out, and I'm gonna go hard. So it's like, okay, we gotta, May one told some Des, you just doing too much.
I couldn't hang.
I can't do this. I'm too, it was fun though.
That was the
Like, it was fun. That one, right?
Be a little, like an alien face or something, like alien emoji. Yeah, so what are you guys' like ultimate goals in track? Like when you hang it up and you look back and be like, that was my legacy. What do you want it to be like? What do you want that to entail? Like, what do you want to look back on and say, I was able to achieve that? Whether it's like a time, you know, a medal, a record, beating somebody. Like, what is your thing that you want to do before you hang it up?
For me, it's more of like, there's not anyone ever that has been my height to like go on and run, you know, these like 10.7 or 10.6 or whatever. So I think for me, I would feel that comfort in like knowing like I broke the chain of what y'all thought a sprinter was supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like
Break barriers.
yeah, like you can't just say, okay, you short, you too small, so you can't ever achieve this. It's like, no, like you can do whatever you put your mind to. Like you can, so I think for me, like when I hang up my spikes, I want to know that like I did something that nobody else has ever done. Like,
if you were to achieve that, you would literally set the bar for everyone to say, okay, damn, I can do this too.
Yeah.
We were talking about this the other day. You guys have 10 to 20 to maybe like 40 seconds of like time on the TV. So like when you're there, you have to like make an impression, right? So like when you're there, obviously the first thing they see is your height. But you have all the elements too. And then they see you pull in those times, it's like she put in the work.
Yeah.
And I think that's like something that people don't really understand about like your sport specifically. Because since you're on this TV, like for that, they don't see all of the work that you guys do every single day. I think you guys are probably one of the hardest working athletes ever, but nobody sees it.
I don't know what that is.
Probably sitting there for a longer time.
Are you kidding me?
It was too thick.
As a guy that's in a Nike group aspiring to be a Nike athlete, what's it like on that journey to get like to get a contract from Nike?
I feel like it's more eye-opening in some ways because it's like you're held to a certain standard. You know what I mean? In order to get what you want, like what might be another group a really good day, or you know what I mean, something like that. It's like you're demanding. You have to have that every day, and I feel like that's one of the biggest differences. It's not really like, I don't know how to explain it, but you're just held to a way higher standard, and you have to bring that every day.
Oh, I messed all the way up. I messed all the way up. It's hard.
The impact is so different for like an outsider looking in, because all we do is see you on TV. We see you race, we see you run, we see you perform, but like we don't understand your struggle. We don't understand like the mindset. Like you guys have built. What is the mindset kind of like going into each race, for each performance, for each one of you?
Knowing that every time you step on the track, you're being judged more so than ever, right? Like just like you said, every little thing that you put on the track is what you see. All the behind the scenes stuff, if you have a great week of training and then you don't perform on meet day, nobody cares, right? You can't be like, but I ran 9.7 at practice. You know, who cares, right? You got to perform when the camera's on, when the lights are on the track. That's how you get paid, right? Slow feet don't eat. You know what I mean? So that's like the most difficult thing, is being able to travel halfway across the world, because most of our meets are not in North America, right? Like we're competing in Europe and Asia. That's where the majority of the meets are held. So we have to be able to replicate what we do here on the track and bring that on the road and be professional enough to say, when you sign up Aaron Brown, whose PR is 1998, you're gonna get an athlete close to 1998, not 20.9. You know what I mean? Like they're paying you to perform. You're like an act. It's almost like we're like the circus, right? Like imagine if you went to the circus and you pay your good money to watch the show, and you know they can't do their flips and whatever, you can't perform, right? Like that's how it is to be a professional. You have to be able to represent what you're portraying yourself as on that moment each time you step on the track.
If you are in this position, if you didn't have to be an athlete, just for a second, if you weren't an athlete, what would you do with your life?
Oh man, to be honest, oh, it's tough. I mean, it's pretty much all I've ever known, really. Like I've been running track since I was 7 years old, so like there's something I always look forward to doing.
Yeah.
But I like to travel, I like to help people out, so I probably would go into like the Navy or something like that. Yeah, I remember being in school, actually, I was in like a CNA health class, and the Navy recruits came in, they're like, yeah, like you can be in the armed forces and like not combat. And I was like, that's for me, cool. So I was actually gonna do that.
I wanted to go to school for nursing, but I had to change, so when I initially went to Clemson, I was a nursing major, but I had to change my major because the clinicals and all that was during track season, and I couldn't miss more than 2 or 3 days or something. So it was just a choice I had to make.
What was your first job? What was the first thing that you did?
I worked at Dairy Queen.
Oh, God.
I mean,
I like ice cream.
that was paid slavery. Like I had my manager, He was nice until I messed up, and then he would scream at me to the point I thought he was gonna punch me.
Oh my God.
Like his face would go red. I didn't know how to mop. Like I was pretty privileged as a kid, so I didn't know how to mop. I didn't know how to clean. My parents did all that for me. I was pretty spoiled. So when I got the job, because I wanted to buy myself a PlayStation, my parents were like, get a job, you know, like that might be good for you. So I'm like, okay. So I'm working, you know, I spill like a thing of ice cream on the floor, and I swear he was about to hit me. Like, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And then he told me to mop. And so I'm mopping. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm wringing the mop and just like putting soap everywhere. Like, I'm like, is this right? And then he came in and then he was like, what is this? I was like, oh my God. So, you know, men are a little different than women, right? Especially when it's that time of the month. What's it like competing when that happens? Like, that's a serious thing. Like, as funny as it sounds, that's like I couldn't imagine having cramps or like whatever you guys go through and having to focus on my race.
Man, it's just like, yeah, find a way to power through it. Like, sometimes you don't want to wake up. You just feel so tired. You're bloated.
I feel fat.
Yeah.
Days if I'm like about to tear up, or if y'all see me tear up, y'all just be like, she on her period. She on her period. Because other times I'm like, okay, you know, I can take it pretty well, but when I'm on my cycle, I'm very emotional. But during the races, I don't really think about it.